Awesome. Please rise for the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Melissa, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. McIntosh. Here. Mr. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Ellison.
Here.
Mr. Lau.
Here.
Great, how are you? All right, entertain a motion for the minutes of the March 13th Public Safety Committee.
Second.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Minutes of the March 17th regular meeting of council.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you. For the visitors to communications, and the first thing on the list is the Highlands High School varsity cheer team. Is the coach here? Is the coach for the cheer team? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Pike. I've heard that you guys won several national. Tell us all about it. This is really exciting.
So this is actually my first year coaching, and I'm the assistant this year, but it was definitely an amazing first year going in.
Can you turn that on? I'm sorry. It needs to be green. There you go.
Is it working now? Okay. So it was definitely a lot of fun, but we just came off of 2 state championships, one for hip hop and one for pom, and then we went down to nationals, and I think we were in first for prelims in hip hop or semis in hip hop, and then second or third for pom, and then in the end we ended up winning in pom and getting second in hip hop. So it was definitely very, very exciting.
Oh, that is absolutely wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is fabulous. And we have some nice little things for you all individually. So if you're here, I understand some of the folks couldn't be here. Drew Ellison, Meredith Clyer. Is Meredith here? How about Shelby Shields? Congratulations. Awesome. Rose Ewald. Congratulations. That's neat. Abby Rowland. Congratulations. Great. Evelyn Shaw.
Not here.
Okay. Morgan Harold.
Not here.
All right. Annie Kuhnheim.
Not here.
They're probably all at dance right now.
Yeah. Kate Fisher. Is it Kate? Yeah. Okay. All right. Abby Orm. Congratulations. That's so wonderful. Ella Kuhnheim, or Cunningham. Congratulations. Elise Salmon. Sarah Stepner. No? Okay. Lee Switty. Sarah Steiden. Brianna Horner.
Not here.
Okay. Would you like to take this? Thank you all very much. Congratulations, that's an amazing thing. I hear like this hasn't happened in like 100 years in the city of Kentucky. So that is absolutely fabulous. So congratulations, great.
Thank you.
Robin, you want to get a picture up here?
That might be better.
Oh, yeah.
Better
We
back.
all don't mind.
Wait, 5 minutes.
You want to be in it?
Definitely got mine.
Stand up, Mayor. Stand up,
Thank you.
All right, Fort Thomas Business Council update. Do we have a business? Yes, there you are,
I in the back.
without the green jacket.
I know, I'm right yellow. So we didn't win any national awards, so. probably
All right, well,
not
never
much.
mind, go sit back down.
So I do have some new businesses that I wanted to welcome today, so we'll get to that in a second. Just a brief update, last month we had the State of the City address, which was really cool. Thanks again to future Mayor Mike Kramer and Mayor Hollister. Sorry, a joke on meeting. Trying to make it stick. But yeah, that was a great meeting. This Thursday we're actually doing business roundtables where we can kind of get together with our different districts and businesses, and we're kind of focusing on how we can better support each other, how the city can support us, and how other people, or residents and everybody can support us. So we're really looking forward to what feedback we get from that, so that we can kind of move forward with it. So that'll be this Thursday from 8:15 to 9:30 here at the city building. So if anybody is available to come, we'd love to have everybody. But it's my honor to introduce, first of all, we have Greg here from Liquor Barn. They had a soft grand reopening, so if you haven't been there recently, their store was totally different. He's going to give us a little spiel about that.
Sounds great.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the invite. So, as Nick said, we went through a soft grand reopening and reintroduced Liquor Barn to the Fort Thomas area, formerly known as Depps. Liquor Barn is operated in the state of Kentucky with 23 different stores, owned under the brand of Go Brands. They also own Go Puff, Bevmo, so they have a lot of different ventures out there. As for locally, I'm the regional manager for the 3 Northern Kentucky stores. Looking to just build relations in the Fort Thomas area first and foremost, but also to become much more active in the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, and really just want to appreciate your support, and hopefully we can give back a little bit to the economic growth of our community here. Thanks.
Well, speaking of giving back, did you bring anything with you?
Unfortunately, sort of did not.
Okay.
Did not.
Probably not appropriate.
For next trip, we'll make sure we make it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we also have Jeff here from Turner and Hale, their new law firm, and I'll let him give a little info about them as well.
Great.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let me speak. So, just recently opened up a new law firm. I know Tim, so good to see you. Yeah, so my wife and I have been practicing law in Ohio for about 20 years, and we relocated to Northern Kentucky to be closer to her family, and so thought, why not find a place down the street, makes my drive a little easier. And so we're here in the community, want to give back, want to be a part of the community. My wife's big on buying locals, supporting locals, so we definitely want to do that. And then we're happy to get this invite and have the mayor and everybody come out for the ribbon cutting, so that the community know we're here. We do a lot of family law, and then focus on some estate planning and small business law. So if anyone ever has any questions, I think we're almost just directly across the street from the city building here. Stop in, ask questions, and see if we can help you out.
Yeah, you got a great turnout at the ribbon cutting. That was awesome. A lot of people
That
there.
surprised me. So.
Yeah, that was really good. That was good.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome to the city. Yes. Is that it for your update?
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. So we'll see if there's folks who have signed up to speak before we move on with the rest of the agenda. Amy.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. So I'm here today, my name's Amy Waldfogel. I'm here to tell you about what's going on at the 8 North Center for the Arts and the Village Players right down the street. It's an exciting week. This is what we call Show Week because we have a show opening this weekend. It is called These Shining Lives. We'll run this weekend and next weekend. It is a lovely, lovely show based on a true story about some young women who got into or were injured by their employer, by their working circumstances, and they fought against that employer to make good on taking care of them after they were hurt. Beautiful play. That's happening this Friday. It opens Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then next Friday and Saturday. Concurrent with that dramatic production, we will be presenting an art show featuring art by Tom Lancaster. That art show will be open to the entire public 1 hour before showtime, so that's 7 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays, 1 o'clock on Sunday, and it'll also be open at intermission for the playgoers. The very exciting news is that on May 9th, we will be conducting our very first Night at the Arts Center event. This is a fundraiser. Tickets are $20. We will have entertainment and things happening on all 3 floors of the Arts Center. In the basement for theater, we will be presenting 2 10-minute plays written by local playwrights, Terry Foltz and A.K. Forbes. We will also be dedicating formally our theater and christening it as the Mary and Don Haas Theater. So we're very excited about that. Named for 2 of our founders. On the street level, at the Sarah Kinsanis Gallery, we'll feature an art show and a painting demonstration by local resident Dave Clokey. And then on the top floor, there will be a musical concert featuring the singing of Adelia Powell-Bainey, who is Rich Bainey's daughter-in-law. We're very excited about that night. Tickets are available on our website and will also be available at the door. The next day, on May 10th, because we don't have enough to do that weekend, we will be offering a tarot reading class taught by one of our members. And right now, registration is open for high schoolers, people going into high school, 14 to 18 years old, going into high school or just out of high school, for our Next Gen program. Last year, we presented a play meant for young audiences. This year we are presenting a play for young audiences, but before that we are spending an entire month in workshop. So there will be preparing for the play and then also workshops led by guest artists from places like the Cincinnati Shakespeare Festival and things like that. That registration is open right now. The program runs through the month of June with performances in the middle of July. And that's what we've got going on.
Great, thanks, Amy. Any questions?
Right. Awesome. Hope to see y'all.
Thank you so much. Steph Chalk. We're hiding behind you. Couldn't see you there.
I thought you were hiding. Steph Chalk, 21 Lafayette Avenue. And my topics this evening include communications, the comprehensive plan, as well as process, procedures, and education. So I know there's a lot of decision-making, authority, and power behind the tables that we're here today. I have a firm belief that the city can get better with the assistance of city council and function at a higher level. So that's my hope, that we can see that. From an education perspective, there appears to be a disconnect among city council, the design review board, and the planning commission. And I'll start with the planning commission. They need to be fully aware of what their role is, and they also need to be fully understanding of their responsibilities with that role. So anyone who is unclear on why additional education and training would be beneficial for those members, I respectfully request that you review the video from 4/16/25 last week at the Planning Commission meeting. On that video, you can observe evidence of the disconnect between the Planning Commission, City Council, and the City of Fort Thomas. This is particularly evident in how duties were discharged on the 2018 comprehensive plan. So I know it goes back a ways before probably most of us were here. The Planning Commission members and all citizens would benefit from formal, thorough, and accurate training. Having any board member just show up and what I call show up and throw up at a regularly scheduled meeting is a waste of time for the citizens, and it's disrespectful for those individuals who did prepare for the meeting, the board members who did. So the design review board needs to be educated on their roles and responsibilities as well. The Design Review Board needs to comprehend the rules and procedures documented in the statutes that have not taken place in our recent history with the demolitions and developments around the city. I respectfully suggest that everyone review the video of 11/16/23, the Design Review Board meeting, where the board members received tutelage concerning the purpose of the DRB, the role of the DRB, and also the responsibilities of the DRB board members. When watching that video, anybody can observe what I'm talking about. The DRB board members admittedly claimed ignorance of their role in preservation, and they engaged in conversation addressing the board's failure to understand their responsibilities. So with Design Review Board not understanding their role and the failure to take action, the DRB contributed to the forever changing look and vibe at the intersection of Highland Avenue and Fort Thomas Avenue. Next is communications. Communications for the city need to be improved. And that's what was on the platform for over half of the council people who are here tonight, that was what they said, or they paraphrased a version of that. So the platform stood for over 50% of the existing council when they were interviewed by Link NKY 2 terms ago. Improving communications was something that they look forward to working on. However, this city council appears restricted and stifled by city officials, city employees, and even the city's own paid council. If this city council members are such proponents of communications, why was there no rebuttal or pushback by city council members when the city attorney proposed a 3-minute limit for citizens to plead their case, in limiting them to only 3 minutes at last year's UDO open meeting at the Ford? Citizens were restricted to a mere 180 seconds to plead their case on their home, which is the single largest asset for most people that live in this city. All the citizens' hard work, their down payment, their mortgage payments, their city taxes, and where they go home every night. And you agreed that 180 seconds is just perfect for people to get up and make that claim. So that's, to me, does it exude communication and expanding communication. Another surprise on enhancing communication strategy is the city council being advised that they did not need to engage with or answer any of the questions from the citizens during the city council meetings. I'm sure that's a true statement, but to me, that practice does nothing to improve communications either. It's how the practice of not responding to citizens, improving communication. I don't think so. That's not how it's done through other city councils. I'm sure there are some where that's the case, but it's not the norm. The people who were voted into office by the citizens are encouraged to not respond or engage with the citizens. That practice is different than what I've seen in other places. So in the interest of enhancing communication, that just seems counterproductive to me. So while on communication, on another point, at last week's city planning commission meeting, the board and the citizens were informed that there is a waiting list for businesses wanting to come into Fort Thomas. That was news to me and many other people, since there are no less than 10 commercial office spaces in the city that have a realtor sign or they are not occupied at this time. It seems as though it would make sense to maybe match that list with those vacant areas, and maybe we could have a tango there and have something positive going on from it. During the public comments, the question was posed, who holds the list? And during that meeting, no one really knew who held that list. It's a conundrum for sure. Moving on to procedures, new board members. One area where city council could be helpful would be to improve procedures for how new board members are selected. There are many citizens interested and willing to serve in volunteer board positions, even though the process has been described a couple of times previously in city council meetings. How the procedures begin and develop are still a bit of a mystery. We keep hearing that there's a process. Can we write it down and so we can communicate it and distribute it and see how it works? It seems if we were seeking the best and the brightest the city had available, we would be transparent and front and center with sharing a description of the processes of the cities on the city's website. Just a document of the process, publish the process, communicate the process, and then follow the process. Comprehensive plan. Dave, step here at 7 minutes here.
I'll give them
Great.
my time.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan that was put together in 2018 was based upon 2016 data. Why are we using 9-year-old survey results as research to drive our 2025 comprehensive plan? That seems archaic and a little bit insane. The survey conducted in 2016 was designed or approved by the city of Fort Thomas at the time. However, by the admission of many, that survey lacked veracity, held little credibility, and was not well distributed among the citizens. I hope that City Council will push for more current data and feedback, that City Council will become active in monitoring how the Planning Commission is functioning in the interest of making it better. From an accountability standpoint, I'm hoping the City Council will carry out their positions with increased vigor by pushing back on some of their ersatz practices, processes, and excuses that can creep into conversation. From my observation, our City Council and city employees appear to accept lack of baseline education across all boards. The design review board either does not comprehend or not execute their role and responsibilities. An existing 2018 comprehensive plan that is vastly different from what citizens had requested. Elected officials self-dealing with real property where the city has an interest, communicating the existence of, but not producing a waiting list for new businesses wanting to move into Fort Thomas, the demolition of historic buildings in Central Business District without documentation, and an inconsistent and confusing procedure for adding new board members to all elected positions. By not challenging the lack of transparency on these and other kerfuffles, the City Council collectively falls short of effectively representing the interests of the citizens. Everything always seems to be okay, or it can always be glossed over by a well-timed executive session or two. When a City Council fails to perform as a monitor in an oversight role or as a steward of the community, they fail to protect the citizens in the community. Then others can manipulate people, co-workers, citizens, data, etc., to promote something else. We all get bogged down from time to time, but some questions I would posit is why don't we have the 2024 audit posted yet for a fiscal year that closed almost a year ago? It seems like we could handle that. Why are we debating the veracity and appropriateness of the 2016 city survey in the year 2025? I mean, why wouldn't we just do new research? From a timing standpoint, there's been enough time things have changed since then. And why is there still finger pointing when prior council members attend these meetings? You're not going to attract and retain quality volunteer board members when a city functions and operates in the absence of transparency in this manner. City Council is the oversight of the elected and non-elected officials who run our city. You are in the role of oversight. Like it or not, you are the stewards of our community. If you see something that does not pass the smell test, then you should feel compelled to take commensurate action. None of you were elected to look the other way. Thank you.
Hey, Steph, I want to touch base on a couple of these things. You can have a seat, I'm not going to ask you any questions, but thank you. You brought up some very valid points there. I mean, every time you come up when you speak, I know to listen. So thank you with that. I never broke down the 3-minute rule until 180 seconds, and you're right. A lot of those changes had to affect someone's probably their highest asset, right? So I definitely think that is a extremely valid point. That I do believe it has to be limited, but 180 seconds definitely is.
And I understand.
Because I mean, when you're doing a whole UDO, I think it's a lot different than when you're doing individual zones versus listen to everybody. So it can get overwhelming, but we still need to give people there a lot of time.
And it could have been different if there were 3 nights that they could come. They were limited to 1 night.
Yeah, I think it could have broken down in sections a little bit better, probably. Some will touch people more than others, though. Communication, I definitely think it's something, though. I still don't understand why we don't have an email list and we're not attacking the internet more. I mean, I think that I personally sign up for a lot of other cities and to see what their communication is, Boone County, Florence, Independence. The amount of communications I get from them from simply sign up for an e-newsletter is sometimes overwhelming. It's when spots are vacant. It's when council's coming up, when board meetings are meeting, what's exactly on them and what to do even to apply. I get stuff like that. So when I thought when we were doing this this whole rebranding, it wasn't just rebranding, it was part of a communication plan to get our web up to date to make sure that we could handle these type of things so we can make sure we reach out. So I think we should really, as a council, how do you guys feel about getting all you can do is subscribe, and then I know that Sam sent out one thing one time, and I look at those posts on social media from him, and he doesn't understand Facebook. He doesn't understand social media. The way he shares things, I have screenshots, it gets 1, 2, 3 likes, and it's Facebook and the algorithms of social media that really constrict people from advertising. So they view what he's doing as advertising and they want their money. So that's why it doesn't get a lot of looks. But that can't be the only way. If people want communication, a simple email list we can have and a monthly flyer and we send out quarterly is the way. How do you guys feel about that? Would you guys like us to look into something like that, council?
I feel like we were getting good there for a little while, like I feel like the online present or through the website was, pretty up to date but I don't know if we've kind of fallen away from that or not, but I think I did the same thing, I get them for all the cities that we work in
And they all do it, right?
Seems like a simple.
A lot of times I used to, I'm sorry.
Blast out to everybody.
And a lot of times for a while there, I thought we were a small city, but we're not. Our budget doesn't say so. The amount of citizens we have in there are definitely our median income doesn't, you know what I mean? So we're the largest city in Campbell County, and if I'm getting these things from smaller cities, why can't we do it? You know what I mean? And if we're trying to attract businesses and people, I think this is the future. So I would hope you guys will be on board on that. And then I want to touch on the comp plan. A couple things with that, how I feel about that. We're a little behind on it, not by much, 18 months, something like that. So, but we did talk about, they just had, unfortunately I was out of town for the last meeting on Wednesday, and I would love to have gone to it, but I wasn't here, and I'm just catching up, and I had a busy weekend, unfortunately. As you can hear, I'm a little under the weather. But I did hear that one of the, we did talk about a survey beforehand. We have two surveys under our belts right now. We have one from the original comprehensive plan, and then we have one from the rebranding. Both fantastic surveys, and we talked about this. We all agreed having a survey, 6 months, a year prior to the next comp plan was a great way to get citizen feedback on exactly what we wanted. I definitely think that. Obviously, we're in no time restraint because there's no punishment for not doing this every 5 years. We agree. Why can we put together a survey to get done before this?
It's not. It hasn't been done yet. It's on the list.
Yeah, but they're talking about the comp plan.
It had not. The survey is different than the comp plan.
Well, doesn't the survey tell the planning commission what people are thinking and give them a role?
So that one was in line with that survey, but we've been discussing it and we'll.
I think we should do a survey first to see what the people want, and then one of the guys actually said that maybe, because I don't understand how this works a little bit, so because I've only been through one of them a little bit. I came at the last comp plan, we haven't done another one. It suggested that maybe we get together with the planning commission and discuss what we think, because we're the final say in the comp plan, right?
You're the final say if they change it. If they do major changes, yes.
So the way I read the KRS statute was even if they don't change it, it goes into effect in 90 days, but we still can change it.
Did you see the email I sent, the procedure?
I did, I saw that, but then I reached out to KLC and made sure I got the correct information. If no action is taken with 90-day period, proposed amendments to the statement, goals, objectives shall be deemed approved. So does that mean that we do not, if they say nothing and nothing changes, then we don't get a chance to approve it even though we're the final say in the?
It's PC's job is to review it. So if they don't make any changes, correct, it does not come to council.
But we still have an opportunity to change it if we want.
We would still be voting on it either way, wouldn't we?
Not if there's change, if there are no changes, the KRS is about PC reviewing it.
If they wait 90 days, so there's a 90-day incubation period, and if council doesn't react in 90 days regardless.
If we don't do anything in 90 days, it reverts back.
It would come to you.
But
Tim, you can jump in, but I think if it comes to you and you don't do anything with it.
But even if it doesn't come to us, we still have 90 days, we can still interject and send it back and say, we want this reviewed again, correct?
You can't, 99% of the time, if it's not changed, it doesn't come to you.
What about the 1%?
That's what I love the 1%.
And that's what I'm saying. I think you can't be stuck in a perpetual loop where you can never change it.
Sure.
And so that was not brought up at the meeting. I'll go ahead and research it, but I'm confident that you can bring it to city council without it being changed by the commission.
Bring it to them, but then the city council still votes on it.
Right.
And we have, I think the one planning commission member who said they wanted a joint meeting, obviously, even if we were to go there, someone even said like they would be here tonight. I'm like, well, that's not how it works. We have to be, if we're there, we're as a public figure. We're not as a elected official. So I think having a joint meeting between us to see how we feel about things and maybe give them some advice on what we would think, like a survey or anything else would behoove us. we went through a lot of changes and a lot has changed in the last 5 years. COVID, for instance, and the value of our homes have changed significantly. And I think we wouldn't be doing our due diligence or why we were elected to represent the entire people if we just kept rubber stamping something through all the time. it's not the last decade. I mean, 5 years has been a lot.
When I read the comprehensive plan, what I found is that you could drive whatever you'd like out of it. If you wanna say.
Almost every comp plan.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
well, then there's a problem with every one then.
Right.
You know, and I think having a survey is a great idea. I think everybody wants to limit the progress of increase. Not that you're not gonna have increased density, but just that it's done in a smart way. But when you read the current one, just to stamp it as okay, you can pick whatever you want out of it. And that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Part of the problem, though, the opposite of that is a comprehensive plan that's so tight and so bundled up on specifics that sometimes a PC is bound up and they're not able to really do their job. So it's finding that happy medium. Because I'm telling you, if you look at most comp plans, they are pretty darn open. They're not zoning ordinances. They're comprehensive plans that give goals, objectives. They're 30,000 foot type views.
I mean, I would like to at least look at a survey. At least add a survey. If we're gonna stamp this, at the very least, have a new survey done to add to it so we can start defining what the people think of our city. I mean, the last survey that the Brand Fuel did was amazing. It really went deep. Brand Fuel was the one who did the.
I was around for that. I guess playing devil's advocate here. Do you think that much has changed? Like, I feel like everyone's like, we want Mayberry, we don't want increased density.
I think more people are engaged. So I think because of the original comp plan, the changes that were made at One Highland, the Brand Fuel, and I think more people are engaged.
When was that one done? Sorry.
4 years ago.
Okay.
So it just seems like to me, ever since the UDO, we have a lot more engaged citizens. They pass out flyers now. That we might be able to get. We had 1,000 people in the first survey. I'm not sure how. Do you know how many people did the one with Brand Fuel?
500 something.
Yeah. So I think that maybe because of that, we could probably add a lot more numbers to that. You know, I'm a statistics guy. I think numbers speak the world. You know what I mean? I think you need to work off numbers, and so. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, honestly with the internet. We pay CT. We look at our comp plan and see what some of the questions that we've been receiving over the last 3 years with the UDO. We focus on those questions, send it out. It could be 30 questions. Get email lists. It helps us gather our email list that we can start sending mailers with by simply doing the survey. It could be the first step in gathering an email list to start sending stuff out once a month about openings on boards. You know, when people want to be informed of council meetings and planning commission meetings, you know what I mean? I mean, if none of us got involved and didn't understand that the public would be honest about some of the decisions we make, we probably shouldn't have gotten involved at this point in the world, but you know, we can't hide. So we might as well be open.
You know when, or does anybody know when the last time KRS went back to kind of talk about requirements of cities to have a comp plan? It kind of seems like this is something that doesn't have any teeth. It's designed to be
It's designed to be guidelines.
It's guidelines.
Just provide guidelines.
One of the things Tim mentioned earlier about, we ran into a problem years ago where part of our comp plan was so restrictive, we had a developer come in and he came in here with video cameras and court reporters, and my God, they were gonna fight it. They were gonna find it tooth and nail because it was too restrictive, and they won. If you drive through different parts of the country and you go places and you see buildings falling down and trash everywhere, those places don't have comp plans. They don't have planning and zoning. It is, the idea about it is it's a high level look that yes, you can push things in different directions, but you also have the feedback is that a property owner has a right to develop their property. You can put some restrictions on it, obviously, but you can't be so restrictive that that doesn't allow them to use their property. So it's a very, you know, it's a crazy balance that you have to get. We went real far this past time. I thought we did great in getting into all the nuts and bolts of this. And I've been through too many comp plans, both here and through Newport. And I've never seen, and even all our consultants were even saying, they've never seen as much time and effort put into a comp plan as we put into ours. which I was very proud of that. I thought we all did a great job. I thought spending so much time looking at it, getting the feedback was the right thing to do. A little comment on the communication. Yes, we continue to try to come up with different ways. In fact, I don't know when the newsletter is coming out, but in my little blurb in the newsletter, I made a comment that we finally got it fixed to the right way where you can go onto the website, and I listed it out. You go to the calendar page and down to the bottom, and you can download the events and the meetings, and it'll go into your phone. Well, the first time I did it, everything went in there. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's something every day going on in the city that I don't really want to see. So we separated it out between meetings and events. And that way I could code them differently, and I could see what events, the Easter egg hunt or whatever, versus planning and zoning meeting, board of adjustment meeting, city council meeting. So people who don't care about coming to the meetings, they can just download the events. So we're looking at different ways to try to improve that process so that people can find that. And through that, if we can create an email list from that, then we can go and look at doing, basically what gets posted can go out in email form. So,
Mayor, if I could answer one thing Andy had, you would ask about the last time KRS was updated on that issue. 100-193 is the statute. It was July 15, 2008. So it's been a while since KRS has been updated on that.
Not that long, actually. If you go back to some of the statutes, that's actually not too bad.
No,
to be honest with you.
19,
yeah, 100 years ago, so. It's not
the
bad.
other issue, really two things. Zoning, I agree. You run into, if it's too strict, suddenly you have no development. If it's too lax, you get uses that are really undesirable, and citizens get upset either way. That's the difficulty of the job that you all have and PC have. And that's why I think it's a give and take so many times and back and forth. With regard to the comp plan, the other thing I would point out is, and I'm pretty certain I'm correct in saying this, I think that last comp plan was more than just a comp plan. It was like a critical steering project as well. And it was much more detailed and much more voluminous than many comp plans. But with that said, this comp plan process that we're going through is important.
Yeah, but you guys talk about comp plan like it's zoning changes and we're restricting things. It's just a guideline. So that doesn't mean anything to me because we're not disrupting how people can operate currently with how things are based on the zones they're in. We're just simply saying this is what we think that the people of Fort Thomas would like to see in the future. And that's what the comp plan is to me. I would like it, we talk about, hey, every meeting we seem to be talking about how we're doing this, and we haven't been live in how long has it been? So we've been in business, and how long we've had, live streaming. It seems like we delay it. I mean, other cities have been doing this for a while. Why don't we meet with a city that we feel is doing it properly and borrow their information? This isn't hard. It's not rocket science. But I definitely think that last meeting or 2 meetings ago, we were all on board on the survey. All I'm asking for is a survey before we even take the next step on the comp plan. What's another 3 months? You know what I mean? Honestly, considering we've already 18 months behind the projected date when we're supposed to have it done. So that's all I'm asking for. You don't have to revise it or anything. Just put the survey in the books with it and see what people want. Let's build a database. We all agreed that was a great idea 2 months ago. So is that any different today?
No, I think my point with the last one, I thought they did a really good job on it.
Yeah.
Like I think that was when I first started really paying attention, getting into this stuff. And I thought they did a very good job. I'm hoping a lot of it is still the same,
I agree.
I remember vividly the pictures they put on there.
I just think we have more engagement. Ben, how do you feel? You want to do a survey? Would you like to do a survey?
You're talking about Brandfield survey there, correct?
Maybe it was. This was when I was.
Why don't we get both surveys, send it out to all council so we can see what both surveys, exactly what they said. I know they did a nice job. So would you guys like a survey before we finish this comp plan? Okay, that's all, cool.
Wouldn't it, and I'll get way out of my lane here, but that's probably gonna get me.
You got to hit me first, and then I have to.
All right, fair enough.
Go ahead and say it.
A survey, just to do a survey, I don't know about that. Survey may be important, but I would think you would want to communicate with PC about the types of things that they would be looking at,
Yeah,
considering?
coming out of the comp plan and based on what the comp plan has in it, I would think, well, let's meet with PC then. Would you guys like to meet with PC and discuss the
Well,
survey?
I don't have a problem at all with doing a survey, and in fact, the process was, and we've been doing it appropriately, was the first thing was for the planning commission to meet and review what was on there. And I watched the meeting or parts of the meeting, and I saw that there was a question, should they meet with us or talk with us to see if we have any particular opinions about the existing things that are in there. You start with that, and then we go back and say, yeah, let's go ahead and throw out another survey and see if these issues have changed since the last time. So I don't have a problem with that at all. So I don't think we've done anything in the wrong direction. I think the first thing was for PC to meet and discuss that.
I agree, we have not, it's very preliminary, the initial.
I just want to get ahead of them before it gets too far down the line.
I hear you.
That's fine.
The threshold question is always, is the existing research relevant and still not completely out of date? They made the finding that it's not completely out of date, that it is still relevant. Now, whether you go further is a whole different question, and that's what you guys are talking about. So
I think reviewing the last two surveys is a good thing for us to do and see how that compares to the existing.
Set a date to meet with planning
I think that's a
commission.
good idea, let's. I'd like
Well, I think we review it first.
Let's just get a date. It takes a long time to get a date. We can review why we're working on a date. I want to meet with them. Hey, Andy?
Yeah, I'd like to meet.
Lauren? There you go. We'd like to meet with George.
I probably overstayed my welcome, but I think there's a lot of good data.
Your 5 minutes is up. I'm kidding.
Anybody else want to give him more time?
A lot of good data did come out of that. And what was surprising were the statistics they gave on the size of the city in 2030. So it's, I would just recommend that you watch it because there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Good.
And you should understand how the planning commission feels that what your role is. You should know that so that you're all on the same page.
Sure.
That's great. Very nice. Thanks.
All right, Kevin David.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Appreciate everything everybody up here does. I just want to address something that has been kind of an ongoing issue over by Woodville Elementary. There's a street, obviously, there, Woodville Avenue. Cars parked on each side. Somebody did finally, I don't know who had what to do with that, put a yellow, at one point it was no parking at all. Because cars come in, there's a blind spot coming over the hill. That's not the biggest, I think the biggest concern is the safety of the kids that are coming out of Woodville. There was a new crosswalk with a new sign placed on the corner, but the crosswalk has kind of dissipated. I don't know if somebody can look into that, about getting that repainted, making it a little more visible. These kids got scooters now, they're darting out between these cars coming out of Woodville. I had one pop out on me the other day and almost bited on a scooter. He wasn't in a crosswalk, granted, but you cannot see with cars there on top of that hill. So whoever did put the yellow paint there by one of the entrances of Woodville, we appreciate that. I brought a couple people with me from the neighborhood, Amanda Vale, Kristen Cowney, talked to several people that couldn't make it that live on Dale, Sherman, Sheridan, all those streets back there. But I think there's also on, I guess it's, what street is that as you're coming towards Woodville? Is that Sheridan or Grant? That's Grant. So where Grant hits Woodville, and you turn left and Woodville's on your right, there is a sign up there that says crosswalk. So it looks like there's two crosswalks, but you see a sign, but there's nothing painted on the floor recognizing that. So whoever placed it's a start, whoever put the yellow paint down on the one spot has opened up a little bit more of a view as you come over that hill where kids are exiting and walking home. I know kids, they're in kindergarten at 5th grade, they're not always gonna pay attention, or they're fooling around with their friends, they pop out into the street, and it's hard to see with these cars parked there. I'm not saying every spot has to be cleared, but it has made a little bit of a difference, and we're just basically here to say we appreciate that. And basically, if somebody could check into, I don't know, if it's Public Works or whatnot, about double checking those lines where these kids can and cannot cross. it might even be something to talk to Woodville about. Another thing is we appreciate the police presence there every morning in front of the elementary schools. I think that makes a big difference if the kids feel safe and comfortable going in. I know they're always there, so that's, we thank you for that. Other than that, anybody have any questions about it?
Yeah, I do. Back up a little bit. I've got it.
It's fast.
I brought it up so I can look at it
Always
now.
fast.
The crosswalk repainted, that's a no-brainer. That's easy. So tell me again where the cars are parking that they're darting out. It's actually on Woodville
On
itself?
Woodville.
So, and this is at pickup time at the end of school, right? And they're not going through the line, is that the deal?
Well, what's happening is I think a lot of them are just popping in between cars and coming out.
Talk about kids on scooters?
Kids on scooters, kids walking, kids horsing around, pushing or shoving each other.
Parents do park back there and the kids come back.
Okay.
And then parents are dropping off there too, so.
Hey, Kevin, if you can get, I don't know if you have my email, I think you do. If we can talk sometime this week, just so I can
Yeah, I'll get some
understand
pictures
each.
too and
Yeah,
email
or I
them
can
to
meet you
you.
out there, one of the two, but just so I can capture, because you named a couple things there and I wasn't sure on all of them, so if we can just talk about them.
Yeah, and I don't even know if one is even a crosswalk, although it says crosswalk and there's nothing,
Yeah, so if we can just get together that way, I know exactly what you guys
Yeah,
are
I
talking
can do
about.
that. Yeah, but we appreciate the progress so far there, and I think that's helped a little bit. And going forward, I'll get that information to you and then.
Great. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
if you guys meet on site, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, Matt, we'll talk about that yellow line, and we talked about it. Is that permanent? Is that just a?
The one right as the entrance of Woodville right there.
That's funny, I just moved back there, Matt and I talked about it, and I had not, you know, you don't until you live in the neighborhood, you don't realize what it's like, you know what I mean? And I even,
Yeah, it's one thing to wait for a car coming up over the hill, not a big deal, what do you delay, 4 seconds? It's another thing when it makes you nervous around school time, that might even be something to address where it's restricted parking during, 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and, 3 p.m. and 4 p.m.
Matt did make a valid point too. Some of those other cars that are back behind that yellow line create a little bit of a pinch, so it slows people down going to and from. So there is some positive to coming out with a little bit of density and stuff like that. But I think the first step is that yellow line. I think that was a huge. I mean, you couldn't see it because they were parking large vehicles there too. So good glad they did. It's glad to hear. So
I'll get with you now. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. Elizabeth Pellegrini.
Elizabeth Allegrini, 45 Lockwood Place. Just want to touch on a high level regarding that planning commission meeting that I wasn't in attendance, but I did watch it. And Peggy Maggio did indicate, and I know she has brought this up at council several times, and I know she has sent the document to council members and the city staff regarding the inaccurate information that is in the comprehensive plan, the information that contradicts the survey. I don't know exactly what numbers. It was 0.006 that said they wanted more density, but yet in the comprehensive plan, that's not what it says. It says that they want it. And that is a document that is used in a court of law. So it needs to be factual. So I'm not sure why after 7 years, I know she has redlined the article or the document and she asked again for that, for the comprehensive plan to be corrected. And why the survey was not included when the comprehensive plan was presented, the survey was not added to that document until, 2023. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I know all you guys are aware of that. And my second question is regarding the training for the Design and Review Board. I know Wes Cunningham is gonna be in attendance. Is he gonna be joining the training?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Third one, I'm not sure, and this is not a judgment on anybody's part, and it sickens me. I live right on Lockwood. We can hear what goes on up at Tower Park, and we do hear some of the noises late at night. And I was shocked when I heard at the last March meeting when Matt, you brought up about the vandalism that had been going on, and it just sickens me. That's taxpayers' money, that's a beautiful park, and that is just again, sickens me to my core that was going on. And I believe you indicated that prior to March, it had happened 1 or 2 times. Is that a true statement?
More than that. But
Okay, so my question is, why, 2-part question. If it happened, we heard about it at the March meeting. I had not heard anything, and that doesn't mean anything, but why was the public not, I don't want to say informed, why wasn't, I guess, the public informed? I mean, I think that was something that everybody should have been informed about. If you're up there, if you see something, if you hear something, you need to act on that. Okay, so then my second question, I'll let you answer after I ask my second question, is we just had a post on Facebook, and this leads to the lack of communication. Why did we just have a post last week on social media about that? So just a huge gap in timing, and I think it goes to the communication issue that we have within the city. So if you can shed any light on this.
yeah, I mean, we always have criminal mischief and graffiti and everything through the parks. I mean, this is nothing new. We just had a lot in a short amount of time, and that's just something that the staff decided. We were discussing even closing the bathrooms down early.
Yeah.
So after those discussions and through everybody, the Facebook post is what we ended up doing. So
Okay.
sorry, it wasn't as
No,
quick as
no,
you thought, but it does take time. I know a lot of people have said this is easy. Yeah, our job is not easy.
Yeah.
So I know everybody wants it tomorrow, but I have 10 things I have to do today to get to that Facebook post, which waited till I got back from vacation, actually, which is one of the reasons it did wait. But we do try our best as the staff, even though.
I guess maybe I'm just like naive or something, like, because I don't visit a lot of the parks. I mean, probably Tower Park is the most because I walk up there, but I didn't realize that it's a commonplace thing.
Yep.
And that's.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, and quite honestly, I wish that we could list the kids' names and send them to the paper and put them out there. But we can't, we're not allowed to do that.
What's stopping?
Judicial cases are confidential.
Okay, I got you, okay.
Elizabeth, can I say something real quick
I'm
too?
sorry, juvenile.
You bring up a really great point. I think the Facebook post about Tower Park illuminated to a lot of the public what goes on that they maybe were not aware of. And I do go to the parks a lot, and I understand there is criminal mischief, there's bad behavior that, unfortunately, our job as elected officials can't control. But your point is very well taken, and if I see, I've mostly heard at Tower Park about some of the behavior, and it is shocking, some of the stuff I've heard. I haven't witnessed a lot of it, but I think it's a good message to the public that you brought up, is that it can't be tolerated. And so, when you see things that are not the right way, whether it's somebody acting up or even littering, could be as simple as littering, call it out. And we all need to try to do that. That's not going to totally alleviate the problem, but we do have beautiful parks, and some of the behavior is just, it's disturbing, but it's helpful to have the public more aware, and that's kind of one of the beauties. There are a lot of beauties, but there's a lot of negatives about social media. That's one of the really good things about social media. I saw that post too, and it didn't surprise me just because of what I've heard and a little bit of what I've seen, but I know a lot of people that I talked to who saw that couldn't believe it. And so it's nice to get that word out there, and we just all need to do a good job to keep an eye on it. And for parents, and I'm a parent, just beat the message into your kids' heads that this behavior is not acceptable. We have a responsibility as residents of this town to uphold, a lot, but especially our parks.
I love the social media post. I thought it was a great idea. And people don't realize how much goes on underneath in the underbelly. That was just, not what it is. But I'm curious. do you notice, like, I know when, from growing up, there was definitely certain generations, 2, 3 years ahead might have been, a little bit more nicer than the generation before. Do you notice like spurts like every 3 or 4 years and then it kind of cleans up, or is it consistent year to year behavior of the teenagers?
I don't think we're in a trend right now. I just think.
Does that make sense to you?
I think we have way more kids in this town than anyone realizes. It's close to 4,000. And occasionally kids do things they shouldn't do, and sometimes they get caught, sometimes they don't. But it's not a wave of anything.
That does bring up a good point, though. Just population, more dense cities, more trouble you have. When people live on top of each other is where you get in trouble. Just an FYI, comprehensive plan.
Okay, thank you.
Didn't stop me.
I
Didn't stop me.
I know I haven't talked this whole time.
That's a good point.
But one more thing, regarding the whole communication thing. I mean, that has been one thing, and I met with Matt and Adam in August of 2023. And we had a whole discussion about communication. And Mr. Haas, when you said about that calendar, I didn't know about that, but that's awesome now that that has been resolved and you can at least get a piece of it instead of all of it. But not only, we're not hitting the correct algorithms. Sharing every post to 5 different Facebook page is not how we gain. It just doesn't work. And I don't know if any analytics have been run off of our Facebook pages to see what type of engagement. I don't think there's a lot of engagement. So I don't think social media should be considered our main form of communication.
I would suggest that as bottom line, go to the website as often as you want to and keep going through, because stuff changes all the time, like the calendar thing. Because that calendar thing has been on there for probably a year, but it was together.
Well, that's
and it was hard to
when
find.
did it change?
It was hard to find, and it was all together. So it got separated out, and now it's on the calendar page, but you do have to scroll down. So I actually said exactly how to find it for people, but that's what I'm saying, is if you go to the webpage and just kind of play around and go different places, you will find information there. It's not always exactly up-to-date information. Some of it's good information to have on there all the time. So yes, we're working on it.
You hit the nail on the head with finding the information on the website.
Yeah.
It's not
easy.
Our website is not as robust as it could be, but it would be awesome if you could get like an RSS feed where it's set up where when there are changes made that you get it, because I don't have time to go and search through the website every day to look to see if there are changes.
Well, with one thing you said with algorithms, and I went back to this. For those of you who use social media, I'll give you some advice, and I said this about sharing is not what Facebook wants. They want individuality. So if Sam, who does this, which I think Sam is trying his hardest, but he sucks at it, just terrible. So, I mean, there's no engagement on this stuff. But he's on there all the time, so we're spending city dollars to get 0 engagement on it. But if he goes to every single one of those and creates an individual post per each one of the sites, you move way up. Sharing something on someone else's sites moves way down. Creating a post, there's certain words you can use, or we could simply just pay for advertising. Social media and Facebook is very cheap. You know what I mean? And then you can say, I only want to hit people with 41075 area codes. I mean, if you want a budget line item, $500 a month to advertise for our events. If you want 400, or you can do it all of Campbell County, and you can do 17-year-old turning 18 in 1 week. I mean, they really can. You can really target on those things for very minimum money. But I don't think we're being very effective, especially if it's currently trying to be used as our only means of communication, which I feel like it is. And it's being poorly played, where I think we're wasting money paying someone to not get any return for it.
Are we using sorry, real quick, I just pulled up the app, like, I kind of forget about it, I used to use a lot, but are we pretty much keeping this up to date? Is that something that we should kind of integrate more with I mean, I see that you can go to the website, but can we post updates and stuff? Who runs the app, I guess, as well?
We do, but we try to have everything linked to the website so we're not changing multiple things.
We push notifications through the app. Now you can do push notifications. and
Right,
go
that's
out.
what I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, I actually really like, I use the calendar and stuff all the time.
I love that.
All right.
Maybe hiring a full-time communications person might be, since we've decided to hire a full-time farmer's market, the farmer's market only 6 months, and so,
I think that's a great.
I think we
Even
should-
part-time.
I think we should hire a part-time, no offense, Dennis, a combination IT communications person. Be done with it, thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're still good, Dennis.
All right, we are down to the fire department monthly report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So if you all had a chance to read my report, you can see that we were quite busy in March. A little bit of the anomaly as far as the amount of fires, but one incident we had take place up in the heart of town is we had a very challenging apartment fire. And it just goes to show the teamwork and the training. The building owners here, that between the fire department and the police department. So a little backstory, the fire department, we were out on EMS calls when that call came out. They were able to break away, but the PD were out there, and the PD cleared all the non-directed fire apartments before we even got there, in 2 minutes. So, we worked so well with them, but, our guys, I couldn't have been more proud of the crew that was on there. They really hit the fire pretty quickly, helped, treat one patient. So, they worked really hard on that, and I really want to give them a good shout out on that as well. The other information I'd like to bring up is we're coming into May, and May 1st is when we do the EPA burn ban, so there'll be no open burning permits issued by May 1st, so you can get that a weekend and a half to get your open burning done until October within the city. That doesn't include any kind of recreational fire pits or anything like that, but that's just open burning for brush. That's all I have.
I'd also like to, just because I was there and saw it all.
Go ahead.
And when I get a call from the chief at 6 in the morning, it's usually something pretty serious.
Usually?
And
Sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not. It's a breakfast.
That's right.
But as quickly as they handled the fire and as little damage as they did to the building while putting it out, which is, it's impressive. And nobody was hurt and everybody got out. It was like a thank you, and it was very impressive.
Excellent. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Receiver, top?
Yep. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Great, thanks. Police department report, Chief.
Thanks, Mayor. Just one announcement, this coming Saturday, the 26th, is drug take-back. We'll be outside in front of the city building from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. with a drive-through lane for unused prescription drugs and no longer needed prescription glasses as well. So spring event, do it twice a year. Taking an alarming amount of prescription drugs into removal this time. So that was all I had.
When you take those glasses back, does the Lions Club have anything to do with it?
Yeah, the Lions Club takes the glasses side.
Okay, that's why
It's just
I'm not in the Lions Club, but I know that's what you guys do. I assumed it was you guys, but.
Yeah.
All right, entertain a motion. Receive and file. Receive and file. Yeah, either way, doesn't matter. We got it. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Okay.
Does that have to do with the annual report too, or we can talk about that, or is that just part of the
You
same?
can ask me questions now.
No, I don't need to ask you any questions. I just want to say that the fact that you dedicated a page to Sean Donlin is awesome. Because, I mean, I don't know how many people know him and have dealt with him, over the years, and his dedication to Fort Thomas knows no bounds. You know what I mean? He is someone that is probably great to have on a force and also horrible at the same time. I mean that in the greatest deal of love, you know what I mean? But he was fantastic. People dressed up as him, people loved him. He was great for the community, man, and I was glad to see that you dedicated some time to him in your report, man.
Thank you.
Because I think he's a great guy.
Thanks.
All right, city administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Shorter report today. We do have Grand Avenue Road Diet that is starting up here. We have the water district that's going to be replacing the main there from Highland to about Pentland. That should begin about the 2nd of June. It's 130 days to complete, assuming everything goes perfectly, which usually it does not. And we're hoping to get that in so they can repave Grand this year, but there is a chance that, since they're not starting until the 2nd of June, that the Grand Avenue might be paved the following year. So just kind of wanted to let council know about that. It is going to be a big project. Good thing about the water main replacement, it is going to improve some of the hydrants in that area that have been challenging. So there's a couple positive things that happened there. It was actually Chief Amon helped to extend that project due to the fire hydrants needing to be upgraded there. So we have, there's no gas lines that are needed in that area to be replaced. The next thing is we do have 2 bids tonight to discuss for council. I sent those out a couple weeks ago. The first one is the River Road entrance from to the Tower Park. So it's the entrance from River Road into Tower Park, which is right by the VA there. Anybody that's been on that, it's very tight, even with 2 cars approaching at the same time, let alone when we have box trucks and other large equipment that go through there. So the staff's been working on that for the last few months. This has been something we've talked about for years, but we're finally getting to the point where this is the time to do it with the park being redone. We have other paving projects in the park, and with the sports complex being completed, this is the time to do that. So we did send it out to bid, and it came back a little bit under our estimate, which is good. It's $85,065 with Eden Asphalt. We've obviously used Eden before and we're confident in their work. It's going to widen that area to allow cars to come in and out easier, but also it'll be large enough for even a semi to get through when that's necessary without damaging our property there. The ones that do get through there and can't make it, often we have damage to the wall and other things that we have to fix up. So this will be a good permanent fix and a big plus for that area. So if the council has any questions about that, if not, if you could approve the $85,000, $65 just in case it goes over there. But we're hoping to get that done this year, this budget year. So if not, we'll roll it over. But that is a project that I am hoping that we can get it knocked out.
You ready to do a motion now?
If anybody, any council would like to make a motion.
Motion to approve, and, before the second, I'd just like to thank you for that. I remember that we were discussing some big, large trucks going up that route and having trouble turning, so with the amount of sports and events going on there, it is a necessity. I'm glad you're attacking that now, so thank you.
Additionally, this is going to allow the military to get through as well, instead of having to go through the park, which is another challenge. So we
I
did.
think Waze or Google Maps takes vehicles coming from, they'll go down 1998, cut up that way, and we'll probably have larger buses and schools coming for the regional events that we're gonna host now too, so it makes sense. So thank you. So motion to approve the 85,000.
Yeah, I agree with what Adam said, and the timing.
Is there a second? Let's do it a second, and now discussion.
Second. But I agree with what Adam said, and the timing couldn't be better. That'll be a really nice improvement, so thank you for getting out front of it.
Yeah. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, please. We're spending money.
Mrs. McIntosh? Aye. Mr. Bendry?
Aye.
Mr. Ellison? Aye. Mr. Black?
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you. The second one is a little bit larger. It is the Midway streetscape that we've been talking about for months here. We did get the bids back, and I briefed this last month as well, but like I said, I wanted to make sure that the staff had plenty of time to just double check everything, even though we got it right before council. Nothing has changed on that. We are still recommending Prue's Construction, which was a general management company for Tower Park Playground, which did a phenomenal job. Additionally, they did the other phase of Midway, so they're very familiar with the area, and it's a good company. I sent out to council, all the schematics, the locations of the telephone poles. And again, I know you probably keep asking yourself why you keep talking about telephone poles, but I want everybody to know where there's going to be still telephone poles around. It just won't be on the avenue. But I do want council to just have that expectation so they know what they're expecting. I took a lot of time to make sure that Renantes and Frank looked at that, and we tried to push them back as far. We tried to get them as short as possible to do. And I think we did a real nice job of doing that. We only have 2 electrical boxes that require permanent easements, and we have all businesses in that area have agreed to allow us to do work, kind of some of it overlaps into their property, so we do have everything in line to move forward with the project. This project will be put into next year's budget. However, I do want to, since this is not a budgeted project, I want council's approval right now to sign the bid. It will be included in next year's budget. I doubt we'll be able to get anything done prior to July 1st, but I'm just bringing it to council so it allows us to sign the contract to accept proofs
I'll make a motion
for construction.
Is there a second? I'll second. Is there discussion?
I just think that we talked about this before. I just think it's amazing. I think that along with the project doing on River Road and Tower Park and all those businesses up there and what they're doing, I just think it accents it, and I think it might put the final nail in the Midway District and Tower Park, and other than maybe some more trails and stuff like that, it really just, I think it'll help all those businesses and everything. I'm excited about this project, man. Thank you for just spearheading all this, seriously. I think it's fantastic. So
Before we leave new business, I've had some people talk to me about the condition of some of the soccer goals.
Can we
vote on this?
Can we finish this?
Finish this motion.
I thought we had that.
No. We still have discussion on whether we're gonna spend this money for doing that.
we put soccer goals in the Midway District. Is
I just have a question about it. I'm going to approve the funding, and I think it's an awesome project. And this question is probably a lot easier to ask than it is to answer, so I don't mean to put you on the spot. Can you give, just so the public knows, kind of a rough ballpark time frame? You know, when it might commence, and what we can expect. We will not hold you to it.
Yeah, I don't have exactly. We haven't done the pre-construction meeting. You know, it'll be a 12 to 18 month project most likely.
We're thinking it might start this summer.
Yes, we definitely want to start this summer. Again, our idea of how it's going to go could be vastly different from the construction company. Our intention is we'll probably do the south side of the street first, because then once they get all that done, then they'll transition to the other side. Generally, that's the best. But again, they may have something where they want to do it all. Just, you know, understanding it with all of our conversations, and we've had a lot of conversations with the businesses there, is, you know, this is going to be inconvenient for them for a while. We just have to keep explaining to them the long term, this is going to be fantastic. It's going to be a lot safer. Sidewalks going to be a lot wider. I mean, it's going to be a big change in that area. But kind of going to what, you know, Adam and I discussed with Woodville, when you bring the street in or you have parking on the street, it slows people down. That, most people don't notice, but, you know, when you're going past the post and the animal hospital, it's really wide there. And people can go a lot faster when it is wider. It feels better, but you're going to go faster, which is why I'm a big proponent of parking on the street, because it does make people slow down. So all those roads, you know, the curbs are going to be brought in significantly, which is going to be safer for sidewalks, pedestrians, but it's also going to slow traffic down and give a little bit more guidance. Because if you look, I mean, you probably have 20 feet lanes through some of those areas, which is just not, it's not great. So it's no.
Okay. I was just gonna ask, is there a plan for, like, is this gonna affect the traffic flow on a day-to-day basis?
Again, that's, you know, that. So that, you know, there's certain construction companies that just want to shut it all down, right, and do these sections. They're going to shut half off and have flaggers, but it's just really, it's going to depend on how they want to handle the project. So I could tell you what I think is going to happen, but until we had a pre-construction meeting. And then once we had a pre-construction meeting, then I'll brief council again and try to get a good timeline. And then we'll kind of go from there. So it'll be nice because this construction will be, you know, in the middle of this construction, it'll, you know, the Tower Park will be done. So that extra traffic that's going through right now won't be a problem. Like right now, it's, you know, it's extra gravelly, it's a little extra dirty through there just because of that traffic flow. So that'll all be done. So once we're done with the Midway, like, you know, it's done. Like we shouldn't have any other large projects in that area. So yeah, it really is a good timing even for this as well.
It will be important to go support them during that time, as difficult as it might be for us to get there, you know what I mean, and try to get as many acorns in their pockets as possible, and then during that time, make a conscious effort to go out of our way, even if we have to walk, support them, because it will be tough on them, but it'll pay back tenfold, I believe, so.
Yeah, this is a little bit tough for me, because I've been around long enough to go through all the other projects, and it's so expensive, but I feel like we all took the time and effort to meet out there with staff and with the engineers to go over every aspect of this to see if there's a way we could do it cheaper, because it's like 4 times what the rest of Midway cost when we did that umpteen years ago. So that part is concerning to me, but you know, it's something that everything costs more now, so. Anyway, so any more discussion? So roll call vote, please.
And this is for $4,079,581.
Mr. Blau?
Aye.
Mr. Allison?
Aye.
Mr. Penderry?
Aye.
Mrs. McIntosh?
All right, what's next on your list?
Get back to that list. Okay. Just covering legislation, we got Pearson Street zone change second reading tonight. We have the second reading of repealing the ordinance for PD policy from 2019. The municipal order passed last month. We have a bike ordinance that I'd like to, Adam, if you want to pull that from there, just so we can have a
I have it right here.
discussion. Is that-
Right here. Yeah. Oh, do you want me to talk about it now?
If you want, or we can just pull it and
Well,
move
I was
forward.
just, so I assume everybody, I hate to assume that we all read through the bike ordinances. I was going through it, unfortunately. He sent it out early, and Matt, you know, I apologize before he walked in. After being gone all last week and then had a busy weekend and being under the weather, I got caught up today. So Matt asked if we should put it on there if anybody had any questions. I didn't get back to him in time. I just went through it, and I just think I have some questions, and I'd like to send it back to Law Labor License for some discussion. I mean, go over in detail if you'd like right now what my issues are. I just think that, in a sense, I just don't think it has enough teeth. I think it opens it up. It opens it up a little worse. I think there's also, it calls everything a bicycle. It doesn't really define bicycle and scooter. Are they the same thing?
Yeah, it's the
Bicycle and
definition.
scooters on the first definitions. There's bicycles and scooters, but everything's called bicycles.
Okay.
So I just didn't
Yeah,
know
let's just,
how.
we'll just push it and we'll talk more about it.
Okay. I just like a little bit more further discussions on it. Especially the one thing I want everybody, what I would like is everybody to talk. I know everybody hears about it all the time, but before the next Law Labor License, actually talk to your friends and see what they think. Like one of my concerns is 2 people on scooters. I don't think there should be 2 kids on any scooters. You know, I mean, they're only going faster and faster, and they're not very big. They're getting smaller, as a matter of fact. I don't think they're growing in size. I think they're getting smaller. And the way one of my concerns on this one, just so, is that it gives too many openings for people to go through the business districts. I think it needs to be walk only, period, even if they can't be on the, you know, stuff like that. But just talk to your friends. I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Matt. I apologize for not getting you to you earlier.
And then we have a resolution. We have a resolution regarding Campbell County Dispatch. What that is part of our interlocal agreement that we have. Campbell County Fiscal Court has agreed to, in their new building, that they're the new safety complex that they're building, they've agreed to build a new space for dispatch and cover the costs. So I really want to make sure council understands that they're going to cover the costs for this. There's a lot of improvements that need to be made at the Newport facility. So since the county's going to cover the costs, we should pass this ordinance or this resolution to allow that change to the interlocal, so we can go ahead and allow them to start planning. They've already put about $10,000 in just the initial planning, but this next phase is going to cost a lot more. So they want to make sure that all parties are supportive of this, so they can move forward with that. So that's that resolution. Unless anybody has any questions about that, the rest. We got 5 municipal orders, 1 for the Board of Ethics, 3 for the Board of Adjustments, and then 1 for the DRB. Depending on anyone's questions, that's all I have.
Okay, so because of that, we can skip down. We don't have reported committees, old business, new business. We got, Andy, do you have something you want to bring
I
up?
did want to, well, 2 things now, but the first thing is I was approached by some youth soccer parents, and they were concerned about some of the field, there's the amount of glass in the field that I guess there's one father that actually goes out and collects the glass before the practices. I believe that's the one up at the fort. But some of the goals, I guess, aren't in real good condition. Is that Parks and Recreation that manages whether or not we need to get some more new goals?
Yeah, we talked to some, we've got some nets ordered, so I'm not exactly sure which ones. But we are trying to get Campbell County's soccer team leagues to be paying for those. I mean, they're the ones that use the field, we don't charge them to use the field, so for us to keep funding that, we're trying to get them to actually pay for things like that. So I've had a handful of discussions this month on that. I know they don't love that, but it's their program. We're letting them use, we've maintained the fields and everything else. I think they should be able to kick in some money for it, so.
And then, before we move on.
But you can always send them to me and then I'll
Oh, well.
talk to them.
And the second thing, I was reading over, so I was not at the March meeting, but I read it, I read the whole packet. And then in this one, I guess the ordinance that, repealing the police policies and procedures. So it references in Exhibit A that I guess explains any of the changes that were happening, but it wasn't in my packet.
It's, the ordinance says Exhibit A?
It refers to.
It must be the old ordinance then. So what happened is we passed a municipal order, because policy manuals are done by municipal order. We passed that in 22-3 when they did their accreditation. Council passed that. We didn't realize until Adam brought up that there was a 2019 ordinance for policy manuals, for the police policy manual. So we passed the municipal order last month, but this is just an old ordinance that needs to go away.
So
because we have two other legislations.
The new one has already passed.
Correct.
Well, I don't think you can do that, can you?
Do what?
But can you, because it was an ordinance originally, you can't pass a municipal order to trump an ordinance.
We discussed it last month.
But we have to repeal the one first.
Yeah, we have to repeal this one.
So that last one last month doesn't mean anything then.
You want me to go ahead and put together?
We can reread it again today, because we have the same one.
Well, it's not that. If
We talked about that last month.
I know we talked about it last month, but I'm confused because you can't, if it's an ordinance, you can't do it as a municipal order. So the idea was to repeal it before the municipal order takes place. So you have to repeal it first, right? You can't do it. It's like, you can't use an executive order to trump an ordinance.
I think the best practice is to repeal it in an ordinance, which this talked about, and we can probably amend this language to just repeal.
That's what it says, right?
And then,
It should be repealed.
And then you would have to go back and do a municipal order on top of that.
Yeah, this just repeals, absolutely, yeah.
But then the municipal order from last month doesn't mean anything, though, right?
We give it some thought.
Let me give you some thought.
We can just reread it again tonight.
We can redo it.
I think though, I would like to see I haven't seen this policy and procedures manual. Or what the municipal order is.
You voted on it last month.
I thought we were just
sent it last
repealing, I
month.
thought we just did the first reading last month. I didn't realize, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be confusing. I still don't know what Exhibit A is. Has anybody seen Exhibit A?
You emailed me last month and I sent it to you, because you had the same
I
question.
didn't see it. I never got it. I didn't get anything emails last month. I also asked for a lot of things last month. I didn't get anything. I didn't see it.
My 2 cents is that I don't like voting on something that I haven't read.
You very well could have. Emailed me, but I don't remember seeing it. Exhibit A.
Can we push this till next month so I can read it?
Let me make sure, because I was doing something. What exactly is your concern? What is your issue?
That I don't like to vote for something if I haven't read it.
The repealing of the ordinance.
Not the repealing, but what is being repealed. What is being repealed?
It's a 2019 policy manual.
Yeah. If they're the same thing, then there's no need for change. So I just would be curious to see what the difference is that I'm voting on. Does that make sense?
The 2019 policy manual is what we're voting to repeal and get rid of, right? So last month, they voted on, well, in 2023, and last month, they voted on municipal order for the policy manual. So this is just a 2019
It's been in
ordinance.
existence and sitting around since 2019.
But
You can either abstain or we can push.
What's changing?
It's,
Yeah, it
I-
could be
I sent
something
this
very,
two
very.
months ago, I sent the
I
update.
hate to postpone or push anything back. I just have a thing where I I just like to know what I'm learning.
I just don't have never seen Exhibit A with a policy manual. Or what is
It was sent in March 10th. It was sent to you.
Just me?
No, everybody. It shows the highlighted changes, it has a summary page of all the changes, and it has the actual full policy. It was sent in March. That's what we voted on last month.
I see one page.
Yep, that was the summary. Then that way you can go through the however many 100 pages or 50 pages, whatever it is.
We're also repealing this as an ordinance, making it a municipal order, correct?
Correct. It's policy manual. Yeah.
Yeah. Which changes it too. Because that's what I asked for last meeting, was the difference between a municipal order and an ordinance, and I asked for that. I didn't get that.
Yeah, Monday,
Matt is correct.
Monday, March 17th, you asked me for the exhibit. That's when I gave you this exhibit a second time.
No, I'm sorry, I must have overlooked it. No one else, did everybody else see it? Did you guys read it?
I mean, I knew what we were voting on last night, but I didn't listen to it. I don't want to overthink it either.
I overthink everything. I overthink everything.
I feel like up to this point I understood what the challenge was.
Well, let's move on. You can vote no, but.
What's that?
Do the other one first,
Okay, so you got the soccer thing out of the way, we got that figured out. Okay, so we're now down to, any other new business? We're down to Finance Committee report on disbursements.
Report of disbursements April 7th through April 18th, 2025. General Fund, $157,999.29. Public Works KDOT Fund, $9,028.21. CBD revitalization, $15,549.08. Waste fee, $129,520.01. Total, $312,096.59. We, the undersigned members of the Finance Committee, recommend that warrants numbered 26809 through 26926 be approved and the treasurer be authorized to issue checks for their payment. Mr. Pendry, chairperson, Mr. Ellison, member.
Entertained motion.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. McIntosh? Aye. Mr. Pendry?
Aye.
Mr. Ellison?
Aye.
Mr. Blau?
Right, ordinance 004.
An ordinance accepting the recommendation of the Fort Thomas Planning Commission submitted in its resolution number Z01-2025 and amending the official zoning ordinance of the city of Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, being ordinance number 010-2024 by changing the zoning or district of lots 3, 5, 9, 13, 19, and 23 on Pearson Street, Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, and hereinafter described from R1C to R1-TC1 by amending the official zoning map of the city of Fort Thomas.
All right. That's the second reading, I'll entertain a motion.
Yep, that's fine.
Second. Any
I
discussion?
thought, would you say that one more time? I was trying to get up to date with what Matt had said earlier. What was that for?
For Pearson Street?
Oh, Pearson, yeah, yes, thank you. Sorry, I was trying to catch up.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You need roll call on this. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Ellison?
Aye.
Mr. Pendry?
Aye.
Mr. Blau?
Aye.
Mrs. McIntosh?
All right, ordinance 05. Put it out there and see what the vote.
And ordinance number 005-2025, an ordinance repealing ordinance 012-2019, an ordinance adopting the policies and procedures manual and rules of standards and conduct marked as Exhibit A for the Fort Thomas Police Department.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Is there discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Pendry?
Aye.
Mr. Ellison?
What?
I'll abstain.
Okay.
That's on me. I didn't read it soon enough, and I'd like to be more educated on it.
And on the motion,
Two. It fails. So it fails.
Oh, no, it passes, right? That's right, it passed, my bad.
Oh, it passes. Oh,
That's right.
cool.
I forgot about that. Hey, you guys reminded me of something.
All right, ordinance 006, 2025. Oh, we're gonna, yes. We're
Yeah,
dropping that one.
yes, I'll push that to
Reread
May.
that. Okay, never mind on the bicycle one. Okay, now down to resolutions. R03, King County Dispatch.
A resolution of the City of Fort Thomas, Kentucky, approving the relocation of the Campbell County Consolidated Dispatching Center from the Newport Municipal Complex to the Campbell County Public Safety Building.
We need a vote on that? Yeah, roll call vote, please. Or first a motion. Somebody like to move? All right, is there a second? All right, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. McIntosh? Mr. Gundry?
Aye.
Mr. Allison? Aye. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
I thought you said, yeah. You think I would know? I've only been doing this for almost. I just, yeah, I got you on one side, him on the other, both tell me different stuff. Okay, municipal order MO2. Now this we need nothing, right?
First, second,
And a vote.
not a roll.
Not a roll call. Okay, municipal order reappointing Mike Federley as a member of the Fort Thomas Board of Ethics for a 3-year term.
Approved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Oh, that was quick. Okay, good, excellent.
Municipal order MO03 2025, a municipal order reappointing Christy Doherty as a member of the Board of Adjustment of the City of Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, and setting her term of office.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Municipal order MO04 2025, a municipal order reappointing Barry Petracco as a member of the Design Review Board of the City of Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, and setting his term of office.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Municipal order MO05 2025, a municipal order reappointing Carol Dixon as a member of the Board of Adjustment of the City of Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, and setting her term of office.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Municipal order MO06 2025, a municipal order reappointing Randy Schultz as a member of the Board of Adjustment of the City of Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, and setting his term of office.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'll entertain another motion.
Yeah,
Wait 1 second, I just wanna, Matt, I apologize for not catching that email. I should have been more up to speed on it, and I didn't see it from 2 months ago, and I thought there was nothing there to see, so that's on me for not catching it. I just apologize. You know, I've had a couple of good wins the last couple of months, so I figured, yeah, you deserve one on that one. Although Dennis was working on my iPad for, that's not an excuse, I was just trying to find something. So, thanks for sending that.
and I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session per KRS 61.810, paragraph 1B, deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're going into executive session, folks. Once we're done, we'll come back in and we will then close out the meeting after we're done with that. Thank you all for coming tonight. You're welcome to hang around if you'd like to wait, but I don't know how long we'll be. So.